Benjamin Netanyahu warns Israel's renewed Gaza offensive is only the beginning. Tyrone Bowman live. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the conversation. Let's get down to it. Israeli Prime Minister says attacks will continue until Hamas is destroyed and hostages freed as airstrikes kill hundreds. So this is according to The Guardian. The wave of deadly airstrikes that shattered the pause in hostilities in Gaza is only the beginning. Benjamin Netanyahu has warned, also promising that the new offensive will continue until Israel achieves all of its war aims, destroying Hamas and freeing all hostages held by the militant group. Any further ceasefire negotiations would take place under fire. The Israeli Prime Minister said in a televised address on Tuesday night, his first after Israel launched attacks that killed more than 400 people in the devastated Palestinian territory in the bloodiest single day of violence since the first months of the war in 2023. Hamas has already felt the strength of our hand in the past 24 hours, and I want to promise you and them, this is only the beginning, Netanyahu told viewers. Earlier, Israel's defense minister raised the prospect of many weeks or even months of war in Gaza. Hamas must understand that the rules of the game have changed, Israel Katz told reporters during a visit to an air base, adding that the gates of hell will open and it will face the full might of the IDF in the air, at sea, and on land if hostages were not freed. The Israeli army has issued evacuation orders covering the northernmost and eastern parts of Gaza, suggesting renewed ground attacks could be launched soon. Palestinian health authorities reported 404 deaths in the strike, which Israeli military officials said targeted Hamas's military commanders and political officials. More than 600 were reported injured. Air attacks and artillery fire were reported to be continuing across much of Gaza during the afternoon and into the evening. Aid officials in Gaza said hundreds, possibly thousands of people were on the move to comply with the Israeli evacuation orders. There is no resilience. People are in a very weak state, physically and physiologically, one aid official in Gaza told The Guardian. Attacks were reported in northern Gaza and in the central cities of Deir al-Balah and Khan Younis. One strike was reported to have killed 17 members of a family in Rafah. The dead included 5 children, their parents, and a man and his 3 children. Medics at the hospital that received the bodies said. I'm going to leave it right there. As a matter of fact, I can read early some more of this article. Lieutenant Nadav Shashani, a military spokesman, said Israel had launched airstrikes after discovering Hamas was planning new raids to capture or kill Israeli civilians or soldiers, and because Hamas has refused to release more of the 59 hostages held in Gaza, thus breaking the ceasefire agreement that came into effect in January. Hamas could have chosen a different path. It could have chosen to release all the hostages, but instead chose refusal, terror, and war, Shoshani said in a statement. Netanyahu's office said Hamas had rejected proposals from Donald Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, for an extension of the pause in hostilities. Hamas said hostages releases were due only during a scheduled second phase that Israel agreed in January, but have since refused to discuss or implement. The first phase of the ceasefire, agreed in January, involved 25 living Israeli hostages and the remains of 8 dead Israelis returned by militant groups in Gaza in exchange for about 1,900 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. Under the second phase of the ceasefire, there would have been a total Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, the release of all hostages, and a definitive end to hostilities. With the backing of the U.S., Israel has been pushing instead for the return of all remaining hostages in exchange for further prisoner releases and a 30 to 60-day truce in line with Witkoff's proposal. Earlier this month, Israel blocked deliveries of aid from entering Gaza and cut off remaining electricity supplies in an effort to pressure Hamas. Tahir Nanu, A Hamas official said the international community faced a moral test. Either it allows the return of the crimes committed by the occupation army, or it enforces a commitment to ending the aggression and war against innocent people in Gaza, New said. The strikes come at a tense moment in Israeli domestic politics. Netanyahu said on Sunday he would fire Ronin Bar, the head of the Shin Bet International Security Service, a controversial move that immediately prompted accusations of authoritarianism and plans for protests on Wednesday. Critics accused Netanyahu of using war to reinforce the support of far-right allies for his coalition government and to maintain his own grip on power. Thousands of people took part in a protest in Tel Aviv on Tuesday night against Netanyahu's plans to dismiss Barr, along with Galali Baharva Ma'ara, Israel's attorney general, who is a fierce critic of the prime minister. There can be no peace without the Prince of Peace. Never surrender, never quit.